Are you creating music with your Tai Chi? Is there a rhythm to your form? Does it have the elements of a melody and harmony? Is it expressing more than just individual movements strung together? Tai Chi and music have a lot of things in common. And today, we're going to look at these similarities, not only in terms of the song itself, but in how we can approach it to make it even more beautiful. The first thing that I want to talk about in approaching both music and Tai Chi is that element of relaxation. If, I play piano, if I were to approach the piano with very stiff hands and straight, joints that are just locked like this, I wouldn't be able to play very well at all. As a drummer, you have to be able to hold the sticks, hold the mallets in a soft, open way. Any instrument, a string instrument, think of a violinist, they have to be open and rounded and loose. Same thing with the piano, just like what I was saying. With Tai Chi, we have to be open and rounded. We have to have delicate lady's wrist. We have to make sure our joints are not locked. We need to approach each of the individual movements and think about being open and loose and rounded and using your delicate lady's wrist. With pushing Chi, we don't push. It's not a push like this. It's open, loose, and rounded with our delicate lady's wrist. Let yourself relax as you're doing your pushing Chi. Then bring that left foot back. Bring a right foot forward. And now start to slow it down. Think about the rhythm of your movement. Let it be relaxed. And now bring that right foot back and hold the ball to the right. And now step out with part the wild horse's mane. Think about how rounded your arms are. Your body is in just a rounded position. Both your arms and your legs are slightly bent. Your hands are soft. You're approaching this movement in a relaxed way. You're using your rotation to keep yourself relaxed. Do your part the wild horse's mane again. Think about how this relaxation, this open, rounded positioning helps you do your Tai Chi in a relaxed way. Think about, in addition to that relaxation, that openness, add to that thought in music of phrasing. We don't have just individual notes. We have phrases that we use. They could be a phrase, of the notes. It could be a phrase of a quiet phrase moving into a louder surge. It could be a very delicate phrasing, or it could be a very forceful phrasing. We need to think about that in our Tai Chi as well. It's not just one move after another. There's a phrase to it. And the easiest one to think about is that ward-off sequence. Think about ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back. You are still using your delicate lady's wrist, your open, rounded position. coming into your pushing chi. Let's do our ward off on the other side. Ward off. Grasp the bird's tail. Roll back. Rotate and press. Pushing chi. All of our form needs to flow like that ward off sequence. Of course, the movements flow one into another, but you can think of separate pieces of the form like the ward off sequence as a phrase in and of itself. And that kind of moves you into the next thought about music and Tai Chi is, what are you expressing as you're doing your Tai Chi? You know, music can express love, it can express anger, it can provide times of feeling happy and light and times of being very dark and of a funeral march. What are you expressing with your Tai Chi? With your ward off sequence, are you expressing the energies? Remember, ward off is the pong. Then the roll back is your lu. You're yielding to your opponent. The press is a ji. It's very aggressive. And then your pushing chi is your on energy. What are you expressing as you do your Tai Chi? Are you thinking of your opponent? Are you thinking about what is it that I am doing? As you do your brush knee, yes, you still have your delicate lady's wrist. You're still approaching it in a calm, relaxed way, but you should have a sense of my opponent is in front of me, I'm blocking something low and I'm hitting higher. Thinking about gathering that energy and blocking something low and coming into your opponent. Think about really brush knee is like the energy of on. You're coming in, brush knee. Your Tai Chi needs to be expressive. It needs to be telling a story. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? With music, you also need to be in the moment, right? If you're playing a piece from memory and your mind goes off to the groceries, you're going to lose where you are in that piece. Even if you're playing with the music in front of you, if your mind goes to the fight that you had with your husband the night before, you might not be expressing the phrase properly as it's written in the music because your brain is not focused. You have to be in the moment in Tai Chi as well. As you're thinking about your opponent, as you're phrasing your flow, as you're keeping yourself relaxed, you have to focus on where you are, what you're doing, and are you applying those underlying principles? You have to be in the moment to be able to move physically and still apply those underlying principles. Think about kick, smash, and box the ears. You have to think about being rooted and grounded, keeping your supporting leg here rounded, slightly bent, but still that column is straight. You have to think about your substantial and insubstantial, allowing this left leg to be completely substantial, full, allowing the right leg to be empty. You have to think about relaxing, moving from the dantian as you lift, kick, smash, then lowering your center of gravity, again moving from the dantian to box the ears, keeping within your columns. All of those thoughts have to be in your mind as you do this movement. You have to be in the moment. You have to focus. Thinking about kick, smash, and box the ears. Try that a few times. Try to think of as many principles that you can apply in just this one simple movement. And even with the box the ears, you can go back to your relaxation, your delicate lady's wrist. Even though you have a fist, it's still a relaxed fist. One of the principles that is easily translated, beautifully translated between music and Tai Chi is the breathing. You know, if you think of a vocalist, if they try to sing a long phrase and they don't have control of their breath, they don't know how to breathe deeply, they don't know how to match their inhalation and their exhalation, if they can't control that exhalation, they're not going to make it through the phrase. They have to be calm in their body. They have to be calm in their breathing so that it can be long and deep. Same thing with a wind instrument. You know, those that are using their breath in the playing of music, they have to really learn how to control and how to control it in a 360 way. It can't be shallow breathing. It has to be deep and long and calm. Same thing with Tai Chi. Let's do our wave hands like clouds. And first, let's do it without stepping. Think about breathing in as you come with that left hand high, and then breathing out as you come across with the right hand high. And then coordinate that breath and start to slow yourself down, just like we talked about last week. Slow that movement down, thinking about deep, long, continuous, calm, slow breathing. And now try your movement with your wave hands like clouds and controlling that breathing. Now you have to really be in the moment again, thinking about your substantial and insubstantial, thinking about your breathing, thinking about your rotation, thinking about letting the Dianne lead this motion. And allowing that deep, long, continuous breath to really calm your body. Let's go to the right. Help it be relaxed. And now you can even play with your breathing with your wave hands like clouds. Instead of breathing in one direction, breathing out the other, you can try to phrase it in a different way. You can take a nice, deep, long, slow breath in, and now start to breathe out and control that breathing out so that it lasts throughout that entire phrasing of wave hands like clouds. Thinking about the beauty of music, you know, as children we start and we learn melody first, and we like to sing the melody. But really, music becomes very beautiful when you add the complexity of harmony. And the same thing applies with Tai Chi, in the beauty of the complexity of the harmony and coordination of our movement. You know, harmony and melody coordinate together. And that's what you're doing with your body in Tai Chi. You're coordinating your movements, coordinating your hands and your feet, coordinating your elbows and your knees, your shoulders and your hips, making sure that your movement is graceful and gentle and coordinated. You know, we can't step back with repulse the monkey. I almost said part the wild horse's mane. Repulse the monkey. You can't be pushing off your opponent when you haven't stepped back yet. You're not stable. You have to think about why you're doing what you're doing. What's the expression of this movement? What's the meaning of this movement? If you are pushing off your opponent, you have to coordinate that step back and that turn, because that's where you're pushing away your opponent. If you're not coordinated and you try to lift here and push here, it's not going to be a balanced, coordinated movement. So putting that left foot forward, bringing that right hand up and over. Now my left foot is empty, yes, but I don't actually push away until I have that base of support. Then thinking about bringing my weight back, keeping my columns intact, stepping back, and then pushing away. The harmony of this movement, the coordination of this movement is very important. Think about the phrasing of the Fair Lady works the shuttles, pick up the needle up from the sea bottom, and deflect, intercept, and punch. I'm going to go forward this way with those movements. But if you think about Fair Lady works the shuttle, even that movement in itself, the harmony, it doesn't have to come up both together. It can harmonize bringing the one hand up and then pushing the other hand through. Then Fair Lady works the shuttle. Then pick the needle up from the sea bottom, coordinating that empty and full, keeping your eyes on the horizon, fan through the back. Then you do a complete turn into your deflect, intercept, and punch. That takes a lot of coordination and harmony in your movement to make those moves smooth and gentle and to keep them flowing. One of the other aspects of music that you knew I was going to bring up is you have to practice. You can't just sit down and play a piece flawlessly. Now, yes, I know there are musicians out there that are very, very good and they can sight read a piece, but even they know that they can improve that piece with practice. And they often take pieces, measures of the music, and practice just individual pieces. And you know, that's what we did over the last few months, of taking individual pieces of the form and digging deeper into them, seeing how we can improve them, taking individual measures of the form. And, you know, as a musician, if all I ever did was practice the easy parts, the parts that I did really well, my overall song would not be good. It would not flow well. I have to practice the pieces that are hardest for me, the measures that are the ones that are the boogers. I need to actually take time and do them over and over again and see what I can do to improve those measures. Let's take our snake creeps, everybody's favorite move. Bringing your weight over to the right, forming your bird's beak. Even at this point, notice, is my arm in a good position for that bird's beak? Am I too close? Is my arm straight out? Do I have a nice relaxed, rounded position? Can I step out and not put weight on that left leg? Because as I go down, as I lower my center of gravity, I need all this weight on this right column to allow this left leg to extend. Then I can start to put the weight on that left leg as I use my rotation to turn and come into my pheasant stance. It's a lot of coordination. It's a lot of thought process, applying those underlying principles. But if I practice the hard parts, they actually start to become easier and you can flow better with your form. And of course, we talked about slowing down last week, the pace of your form. That's the overall phrasing, the overall rhythm of your form. And it coordinates with your breathing, as we talked about, thinking about being in the moment, applying those underlying principles. The pacing of your form matters. The flow, making sure that you're connecting those pieces in a way that makes sense, that it expresses a song. So